Hello, I'm Tammy Douglas Schatz. I'm your Human Resources Director for Riverside County, and you're watching Report on Conditions.
This week, we'll take you to a vehicle versus a structure and 2 vegetation fires. We'll also show you some behind-the-scene footage from our demolition derby our firefighters participated in.
Engine 1 with Report on Conditions.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Report on Conditions. I'm Alex Izaguirre. We're starting the week off with some footage from the Burn Institute's annual demolition derby that our firefighters proudly participated in.
On Sunday, July 7th, the 32nd annual 2024 Fire and Safety Expo and Firefighter Demolition Derby had firefighters swapping their hoses for clunker vehicles in the ultimate demolition derby. This expo was hosted by the Burn Institute, which is a burn survivor service whose mission since 1972 is to educate and inspire communities to reduce burn injuries and empower those affected by burn trauma. The event features firefighting and safety demonstrations, a fire and burn prevention pavilion, and the most anticipated portion of the event, the demolition derby. Firefighters from the Lake Elsinore and Willamar area entered 2 vehicles in the demolition derby, fielded a 22-person team for support, and all while raising an impressive $12,000 for the Burn Institute. The team proudly competed against various fire departments across San Diego County, with their derby vehicle B2 securing a memorable second-place finish. Each team not only builds their own cars, but also raises funds for the Burn Institute through car sponsorships, generating over $80,000 annually. Thank you to the Burn Institute for organizing such a community-driven event, and congratulations to our firefighters on their amazing win.
Last week, from July 8th through July 14th, the department responded to a total of 3,975 calls for service. This included 2,968 medical emergencies and 148 fire-related calls. Now let's see some highlighted incidents. On Wednesday, July 10th, firefighters responded to reports of a vehicle that had struck a house in the 29,300 block of Breakwater Street in the city of Lake Elsinore. The first arriving engine reported a tow truck that had crashed through a wall and into a structure, with the driver trapped inside. After a difficult extrication taking about 25 minutes, the tow truck driver was removed from the vehicle with minor injuries and transported to a local hospital. The structure sustained significant damage, the residents were displaced, and Lake Elsinore's Building and Safety Department were requested to assess the integrity and stability of the structure. There were no injuries to anyone in the home. On Friday, July 12th, 911 dispatchers received numerous reports of a vegetation fire near the intersection of Bluff Street and Myas Canyon Road in Banning. The first arriving battalion chief reported 5 acres burning at a dangerous rate of spread. A significant augmentation of resources was requested. Due to the spread of the fire, 2 residential areas were placed under an evacuation warning. Thankfully, with the large response of fire resources, the forward rate of spread was stopped after about 2.5 hours. 4 firefighters suffered minor injuries, 2 were released back to their stations after on-scene treatment, and 2 were transported to a local hospital for further care. The fire burned just up to 50 acres, and the evacuation warning was lifted at 5 p.m. Crews remained on scene throughout the night and into the next day, working on further strengthening containment lines and mopping up hot spots within the fire. There were no injuries to civilians or any structures damaged. On Friday, July 12th, multiple 911 callers reported grass on fire in the 39,000 block of Paba Road in Temecula. The first arriving battalion chief reported approximately 5 acres burning in light, flashy fuels at a moderate rate of spread, and immediately requested additional engines. The fire quickly grew to 20 acres, and aerial operations requested several additional pieces of firefighting aircraft. Evacuation orders were put into place for the Vail Lake campground area. Highway 79 was closed for approximately 2.5 hours while firefighters worked. The forward rate of spread was stopped at 4:36 p.m., and the evacuation order area was downgraded to a warning after a few hours. Engine crews remained on scene overnight and the next day working on full containment. The fire was fully contained to 101 acres at around 6 p.m. on the 13th. A total of 5 firefighters suffered minor injuries and were transported to local hospitals for treatment. On Friday, July 12th, firefighters were dispatched to a reported structure fire in the 15,000 block of Shadow Mountain Lane in Lakeland Village. The battalion chief was first on scene and reported smoke and fire from the second story of the residence. Engines arrived on scene and quickly contained the fire to the second floor with no extension into the first floor area. No occupants were home at the time of the fire, and no injuries were reported. Resources were on scene for about 2 hours performing salvage and overhaul.
Summer is here, and it's time to enjoy the sun and some outdoor fun. To make the most of this season, follow these essential safety tips. Always supervise children around water. When possible, swim in areas monitored by lifeguards. While boating or engaging in water sports, always wear a life jacket. Follow local guidelines for campfires and fire pits. Never leave a fire unattended, and always extinguish it completely before leaving. Remember, one less spark means one less wildfire. Apply sunscreen throughout the day, even when it's cloudy. Wear hats, sunglasses, lightweight clothing, and sunscreen to protect yourself and your pets against harmful UV rays. You can protect your pets from the sun in the same ways you protect yourself. Drink plenty of water throughout the day, especially before and after outdoor activities. Take frequent breaks in the shade or stay inside during peak sun hours. Be aware of the signs and symptoms of heat-related illnesses. Act quickly if you or someone else around you experiences severe heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Enjoy your summer, but always remember, safety starts with you.
That's it for this week's Report on Conditions. Follow your firefighters in action on our social media at CAL FIRE RRU and stay up to date on incidents happening countywide. If you caught any great footage of our firefighters at work or out in the community, send them to us at rrupio@fire.ca.gov. On behalf of your Public Affairs and Community Education Bureau, I'm Alex Izaguirre. Thanks for watching.